Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, bloody hell, bloody hell. You probably know the story by now. If you don't, it's easy. Just head to the bathroom, turn off all of the lights, stare directly into the mirror, and call her name. But if you hear any noise, do not turn around. Just keep your eyes fixed on the mirror. And no matter what happens, absolutely do not run. It is unless you want an axe to smash through your skull and drain your body of its precious life essence. So, yeah, good luck with that. But Bloody Mary isn't always so bloodthirsty. Sometimes she just wants to have a chat. That was the case for one man when he decided to summon the ghastly specter into his bathroom. He had no idea what he was getting himself into, though, because it turned out Mary wasn't in the mood for polite conversation. It all started when this man named Sean summoned Bloody Mary into his bathroom. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, bloody. The moment he said it, a shiver ran down his spine, and he immediately regretted his decision. Because right before his eyes, the mirror behind him began to steam up, as if someone had just stepped out of a hot shower. He thought about running, but he knew he shouldn't. So he did the only sensible thing he could think of. He kept repeating, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, bloody, trying to convince himself that he wasn't about to die a horrific death. A moment later, the steam cleared, and standing in front of him was none other than Bloody Mary. She looked pretty, but that's about where the pleasantries ended. Her face was pale, her eyes were soulless, and she was holding a meat cleaver in her right hand. Hi, Mary, Sean said nervously, hoping against hope that he wouldn't be chopped up into bloody pieces. Sorry to bother you, but I have a question for you. Mary stared at him silently, and Sean tried to push on. Do you know where I can buy some milk? Mary didn't respond. She just stood there staring at him, her expression unreadable. And the silence stretched on, becoming more and more awkward by the second. Sean tried to make conversation. It's a nice day today, isn't it? Yes, the birds are singing, the flowers are blooming, and I haven't been murdered yet. He chuckled nervously at his own joke, but Mary didn't even crack a smile. She just stood there silently, her eyes boring into his. Finally, Sean lost his nerve. Never mind, he said, backing away slowly. I guess I'll just, go now. As he turned to leave, he heard Mary speak for the first time. Where are you going? She asked in a voice that sounded like nails on a chalkboard. I'm just leaving, Sean stammered. I don't want to bother you. Mary took a step toward him, and Sean felt his heart skip a beat. You won't tell me, she asked, her voice growing louder. Where are you going? Sean took a deep breath and tried to calm down. He knew that running would probably provoke Mary, and he really didn't want to make her angry. So he decided to stay and try to reason with her. I was just leaving, he said calmly. I didn't mean to disturb you, but I need to go now. Mary took another step towards him, and Sean felt his blood run cold. Why do you want to leave? She screamed, her eyes flashing with anger. Why are you afraid of me? Chuan took a step back and tried to keep his voice steady. I'm not afraid of you, he said. Just, I have to go now. Mary lunged at him, and Sean screamed and backed away, tripped over the rug and fell to the floor. He looked up at Mary, who was standing over him with a wild look on her face. So you admit you're afraid of me, she hissed. You think I'm dangerous? Sean scrambled backwards, away from her outstretched hand. I didn't say that, he stammered. I just need to get out of here. He tried to stand up, but Mary grabbed his ankle and pulled him back down. You're not going anywhere, she said. Not until you tell me what you're hiding. Sean struggled to free himself from her grip, but it was no use. Mary was too strong for him. She dragged him closer to the mirror, and he caught his own terrified reflection staring back at him. I'm not hiding anything, Sean said, his voice shaking. I have to get home. Mary's grip tightened around his ankle, and he winced. I said, answer my question, she snarled. What are you hiding? Sean closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He knew that he couldn't fight Mary, but he also knew that he couldn't tell her what he was hiding. He was carrying a secret that was too dangerous for her to know. He opened his eyes and looked into Mary's face. I'm sorry, he said, but I can't tell you. Mary's face contorted with rage, and she screamed, So be it. She threw him to the ground and stood over him triumphantly. I will take it, she said, reaching out to grab him by the throat. Just then, the sound of footsteps echoed down the hallway, and Mary vanished into thin air. Sean sat up and looked around frantically. Had she really been here? Was she really going to kill him? Or was he just having a nightmare? Stood up and walked out of the bathroom, shaking his head. It had been a close call, but he had managed to escape Mary's clutches. For now, he knew he had to be careful. She wouldn't give up easily. As days turned into weeks, Sean became increasingly paranoid. He couldn't shake the feeling that Mary was watching him, waiting for him to let his guard down. He started seeing her face everywhere, in the shadows, in the mirrors, even in the clouds. He tried to distract himself with work and hobbies, but nothing helped. He couldn't focus. His mind was constantly on edge. Then one night, as he was getting ready for bed, he saw it, a single white feather floating down from the ceiling. He watched in fascination as it drifted past him and landed on the floor. A chill went down his spine. He knew that Mary had returned, and this time she meant business. He tried to ignore it, but the feather was a sign that she was close. She was watching him, waiting for him to sleep so she could strike. He tossed and turned in bed that night, unable to get any rest. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside his window made him jump. He felt trapped, like a mouse caught in a spider's web. Just before dawn, he heard it, a knock on his door, soft at first, then louder, more insistent. He knew he shouldn't answer, but curiosity got the better of him. He opened the door a crack and peered out. There was no one there. He stepped out into the hallway and called out, "Who was it?" Silence. He shrugged and went back to bed, trying to convince himself that it had been a dream. But deep down, he knew that Mary was closing in on him, that she wouldn't rest until he was dead. The next morning, he decided to take action. He couldn't live in fear of Mary forever. He packed a bag and left town, driving away in a car without so much as a backward glance. But Mary was always there, wasn't she? In his mind, he could feel her presence in the car with him, watching him, waiting for him to make a mistake. Then, just as he was about to give in to despair, he saw it, a billboard advertising a local church. He smiled weakly. Maybe if he prayed hard enough, Mary would leave him alone. He turned the car around and headed in that direction, hoping for a miracle. And that is the horrifying tale of how summoning Bloody Mary into your bathroom can go horribly wrong. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. And why not subscribe to our channel for more spine-chilling horror stories? But for now, it's time to say goodbye. Till next time, stay safe and watch your back. You never know when Mary might decide to pay you a visit.